All right, this is a 15-minute at-home dumbbell and resistance band full body workout. It's sort of intermediate to advanced level, but you can do it. I want to start off with a couple minutes of mobility, so really tuck those hips under. I want you to rotate your pelvis forward, so you're squeezing your glutes, and that bottom part of your pelvis is going to rotate to the front and up, getting a nice stretch in that back hip flexor. So tuck the pelvis under, keep your core in, get a little bit of twist and rotation. You want 3 deep breaths on each side, inhaling as you expand your rib cage in all directions. Sink a little lower if you can on the second or the third breath. One more mobility stretch here. Space your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. Keep your knees slightly bent, and we're just gonna grab the opposite hand to the opposite ankle. Other arm goes up towards the ceiling. Make sure you're taking in 3 deep breaths. I want the rib cage expanding in all directions. Be mindful of that breath just to set everything in a little bit better alignment. And one more mobility stretch here. I promise this is the last one. A deep runner's lunge. That forward bent knee, I want you to engage your adductors. So keep that knee pointing forward. Engage the inner thigh so the knee points forward and it doesn't drop out to the side. This is what it looks like from the side view. You're just gonna get some rotation. Make sure you're taking those deep breaths in to expand the rib cage in all directions. So do 3 of these on each side. Remember to engage those adductors, engage that inner thigh so the knee stays forward and it doesn't fall out to the side. And grab your resistance bands, one above the knee, one below the knee. You can choose to just do one resistance band to make it a little easier. The resistance band above your knee is going to be a little easier. The resistance band below your knee is going to make it more challenging. So I want the knees to be at a 90-degree angle. Your lower back is pressing into the wall. Now this one, to make it challenging, let's throw in some shoulder mobility. So your hands and your elbows are going to go up against the wall. If you have an injured shoulder, you might not be able to do this. If your shoulders are healthy, we want to keep them healthy. We're going to add in some mobility. So we're going to hold this wall sit for a minute or as long as you can. Ensure you are driving the knees out against the resistance bands. We're going to turn on that glute medius. You should be feeling some heat here, maybe a little tremble. We're almost at a minute. Make sure you're stacking the ears over the shoulders. Ribs are stacked over the pelvis. Breathing in, driving those knees out against the band. All right, once you're done with your wall sit, we're gonna rest about 45 seconds. We're taking about a 45-second rest in between sets. If you need to rest longer, go right ahead. I wouldn't recommend resting any shorter because that means you're gonna be a little tired for your next set. I want each set to be heavy enough where going to about 10 to 12 reps is about an 8 or 9 difficulty. We're starting off with a rear lunge. You're gonna do the same foot for 10 reps. I want a nice quality slow rep. So what you're gonna do is pause for half a second at the bottom and then come back up, squeeze your butt at the top. Now, on your way back up, you can choose how much you're letting that back leg help you. When you take some of the weight off of that back leg and put it all on your front leg, you are going to make each rep a lot harder. So that is how you are going to progress with the same exercise. It's very possible. So pausing at the bottom and squeezing at the top. What I'm doing is resting for 20 seconds in between each leg. Some people don't need to rest in between each leg. I need to rest. So take as long as you need, or if you feel like you can get into the next leg, go ahead and get at it. All right, and we're just gonna do 10 more reps on the other leg. I cannot emphasize enough the quality of each rep. It is going to make all the difference in hitting those type 2 muscle fibers, which we need to hit in order to make the muscle grow in size and grow strong. So this is not a tempoed workout. I want each rep to be high quality, and I want a pause at the bottom of the movement. Again, if you need to make this a little harder, what you're gonna do is use less help from that back leg and have the front leg doing all of the work. Now, if you are just beginning at this, go ahead and use as much weight and help from that back leg as you need to. Good. All right, gang, so we're actually only doing one set of each exercise for this workout. Take 45 seconds to rest in between. Make sure you hydrate, drink some water. What I like to do on my rest is sort of get a nice stretch in, concentrating on my breaths, expanding my rib cage, sort of just being aware of your pelvic floor and what it's doing. See if you can just bring that mind muscle connection to cognition. All right, so our next move is going to be a curtsy lunge. When you pick up your dumbbells, use good form picking up your dumbbells. Use your legs, do not use your back. This is a rotational type of lunge. Rotational meaning we're having to cross one limb over midline. You're going to need to do movements in all directions, including front to back, side to side. This one is rotation. You don't need that back leg to cross over very far. You're just sort of bringing that back leg so that it's sort of in line or a little beyond that front leg. And if this hurts your knee, I want you to take a smaller step or grab a lighter weight, or decrease your range of motion if it hurts your knee. Now I want each rep to be a quality rep. We're resting 20 seconds in between each leg. All right, and we're doing the other side, 10 reps on each side. Just to reiterate, I want you to pick a heavy enough weight. We're doing 10 to 12 reps is an 8 or 9 out of 10 perceived difficulty. That's why I want these slow quality reps. It just increases your muscle activation with each rep and decreases the rate of or risk of injury. Now that front knee should sort of be lining up and pointing in the same direction as your toe. All right, make sure you are engaging your core as you put down and pick up your weights, obviously. I want you to grab a step if you have one. You don't need a step, it just increases your range of motion. What we're gonna do is a double leg glute bridge here. You can do it with your feet on the floor, or you can do it with your feet elevated as I'm about to show you. I want you to also grab your resistance bands. We're gonna put one band above and one below the knee just to sort of turn on all of those glute muscles. Rest for 45 seconds. Grab your dumbbells. All right, I like to place my dumbbells sort of on my hip bones. It's comfortable enough and it's light enough for me. If it's uncomfortable for you, go ahead and put like a folded towel underneath. What we are doing here is 10 slow, high quality reps. I want you to squeeze your glutes to bring your pelvis towards the ceiling. Squeeze your glutes, and I want you to pause for 1 to 2 seconds at the top and slowly lower those hips down, keeping your knees driving out against the resistance band. This is how you're gonna make it a lot harder. You're gonna squeeze and pause for 2 seconds at the top. We're done with legs. We're gonna move to an upper body push-pull sequence all at once. It's gonna be a push-up with a row. So rest for 45 seconds. Grab some water if you need to. So go ahead and grab your dumbbells. I'm using 19 pounds with these power blocks. I love the power block. It's so convenient and space saving. So you're gonna get into a push-up position. What you can do to modify, you don't have to do a push-up. You can just hold the plank and do a row, or you can do a push-up from your knees. This is what it looks like from the front. What I want is your core actively engaging the whole time. Your hips are gonna wanna rock side to side to compensate for when you lift up the weight. Really engage your core so your hips are still and they are square to the ground rather than rotating side to side. This is what it looks like from the side. Guys, you're gonna have to take a wider stance on these. So again, engage your core to keep your spine supported and neutral. And you're just gonna squeeze, pause those lats at the top. Squeeze, pause at the top, squeeze those shoulder blades together, pull that elbow back and really engage your lats. So your lats are doing most of the work, not your arms. And really tighten that core so your hips are square to the ground and not rocking side to side. This one is gonna probably take some practice. You will get it over time. I would recommend starting with a lighter weight. If push-ups are sort of the limiting factor in this exercise, you can modify. So just do 1 or 2 or 3 push-ups and the rest rows. You can learn how to modify for what's gonna work for you. All right, so we're done with upper body. Just 2 more movements and about 4 more minutes left. We're gonna do 1 move for our abs and our obliques. These are Russian twists, and then we are gonna do 1 plank with alternating shoulder taps for our core, and then we are done. Right, go ahead and grab a medicine ball or a 5-pound weight. If you don't have a weight, that's fine. What you're gonna do is keep a soft bend in the knee. And these Russian twists, what you're gonna have to do to really activate your abs and your obliques is you're going to have to twist your torso, meaning I want you to look over each shoulder with each rep. So you are actively twisting your torso. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. People tend to just move their arms and they keep their shoulders straight forward, and that doesn't work. So I want you to twist your torso. And by doing that, you're gonna use your head to look over your shoulder. All right, take a quick rest. This one's gonna be shorter than 45 seconds. And we're just gonna take the last minute or so to do our plank. What I want is you to actively draw your ribs down towards your pelvis. That is how you're gonna engage your core. And what we're gonna do is just do alternating shoulder taps with your hands. This one, again, hips are gonna tend to rock to compensate. Keep that core really locked in hard so your hips stay still and your hips are always square to the floor. Do this for about a minute. If you can go for only 20, 30, 40 seconds, that's totally fine. I just want that lowest rib drawing in down towards your hips at all times. Don't forget to breathe. Make sure you keep a neutral neck. That means your gaze is slightly above where your hand level is. And finishing up the last rep here, go ahead, do a downward dog, sort of just decompress the spine, and you're done. Great job.